All right, we're live.
Hey, buddy. Hey, happy birthday yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would
I
you?
have that wine hangover, so
You got that
I,
wine hangover?
I feel 36. I feel like 80, but yeah, that's why I'm having. I have a coffee. I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, there it is.
There it is. There it is. It hasn't
Coffee
disappeared in the
today.
background yet.
Yeah, I know. It's all. I'm all backwards. It's the mirror image thing, right?
I know. Eh?
Right's left, left's right. Anyway,
Nah, it's all good. Yeah. What a day yesterday though. Eh? We got the new album out.
yeah,
How great
EP's
is
out.
that? The EP's out,
Yeah.
flying. Just looking. So I was looking on Spotify here, and on some of our stats, and 51 people in London, Ontario, Canada, which is where we're from. It's fantastic. We should give a shout out to everyone that's been streaming us, Spruce streaming it around us. But here's one that I didn't expect: Cincinnati in United States.
What do they
Who
got? What they got going on for us?
they got like 17 streams in Cincinnati, which is
Mm.
fantastic. But I want to know who's in Cincinnati listening. If you're out there,
Yeah.
let us know because I don't know who you are.
Yeah, I don't
I'd
know
love to
anyone.
know.
I don't know anyone around the area.
No.
I don't think we have any followers on like Instagram from. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
great though. That's cool.
It's so cool. And the other one is Chapin. And I've never heard of that. United States. So and
Chapin.
we got a couple from London in the UK. So after all that from our last podcast about hey, there's two Londons. Well, there we go. We got a couple from the UK as well, which is pretty neat. So
Ironically, UK is paying us a lot of attention for whatever reason.
well, I mean, we kind of talked about it this week. Maybe we should go to Birmingham and buy a house.
Yeah, we're thinking like this is putting all the pressure on the Canadian media here to help us out because we don't want to leave Canada, but
No, but
um,
it may give us no other
that's
choice. I mean,
that's where the love is. That's where the love
we're
is.
getting a lot of love
Yeah,
in the UK.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually that they gave us a chance almost immediately to show our stuff on the radio. And Canada hasn't even responded to our emails. So it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. I mean, we'll press on, and you know what? We got to give them a reason to love us, and I think we're on our way. We'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, another one. The one that I forgot about last podcast. I couldn't think of the name. I was like Betsy or something like that. Anyways, it was Back Roadie Radio in Vintlaw, Scotland.
That's close to Betsy.
It's close to Betsy. It's something like that. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's the one that they said February 1st. They're hitting up their radio show. So hopefully,
That's Scotland.
that's in Scotland. Kind of back to my roots. My dad's from Fraserburgh, Scotland. So that's maybe that's why. Maybe that's where
they saw Fernandez first, and they were
Right.
like, "Fuck that." Then they saw Henderson, and like, we probably know this guy.
Yeah. So
Let's
I was hoping that Canada would pick us up, not that my brother is Paul Henderson or anything like that, but I know I certainly could be mistaken, or Ricky Henderson, whatever.
Ricky Henderson, yeah.
Harry and the Hendersons. I'll take anything.
So that's our call to the Canadian radio stations, or even website radio.
Internet radio?
Website radio. I'm old, man.
36 and
the interweb radio. That's just a shout out to them. If they could play us, that'd be cool. That'd be cool because
we'll take the love.
Yeah, otherwise we're moving and I don't have a passport so
and we're in lockdown, so I don't think we're going anywhere.
Also that, plus UK has that variant of COVID-19, so
yeah, it's true. I think, and it's slowly making way here, but so far it's not as bad,
so it seems like an empty threat from us, but just
it really is. It really is. Big news also. We're back on IG.
Yeah, I was actually going to address the IG thing. The IG thing, and this is listen, I'm not going to badmouth Instagram. We use Instagram frequently. Twitter and Instagram are our two main, I would say. But Instagram really, they banned us for 7 days as of last Sunday till today. And the ban was because they said we were using a program to get more followers, which we were not using a program. We have about 400 followers, so
right,
that program wouldn't have helped, or it didn't work at all. But
no.
So and this is a good point. I'm glad you brought Instagram up because they would not respond to anything. There's no customer support, and when you put in a complaint, it says we don't read all of these. or respond to any of them. It says so. I had to put in a complaint every day, and then yeah, and
And
they never
still nothing.
responded, and now we're back.
Nothing.
Yeah, so we're
You
back
know,
now.
it's funny because I had a problem with Marketplace, and I mean, I'm pretty sure IG, and not to harp on Facebook. I mean, they're interconnected, but yeah, I got banned on Marketplace, and I didn't understand why. And they said that somebody was using my account, but it was actually me. And I tried to reach out to
Crazy.
them. They didn't respond multiple times. Happened 2 or 3 times until finally, somebody finally, was able to fix it. But we have no idea why. But they're like, "Did you make this post?" I'm like, "Yes, I did. That was something that I posted. I posted a question or a comment, and that was something I was legitimately asking about." And anyways,
So it just
we're
goes
back.
to show it was very frustrating, and with the week we just had with being on the radio and our
We had
EP
so much
dropping,
going on.
and it just turned out we couldn't promote it on
No.
Instagram.
So there's a big flood yesterday on Instagram, or I guess it was really early this morning. Really is what it was. The big flood of all the news that have come up. So people on IG,
Yeah.
we're sorry if you
Yeah.
missed out on this highlight of the week.
Yeah,
You got to hop on everywhere else. Twitter, Chasing Rec Band,
we do have other options.
Facebook,
Yeah, TikTok, which we covered last time, which we never used, but we're there. And our website is a good place.
Yeah, it's a good place.
that.
And actually, the podcast, I threw up the first one on there, and this one's going to go up there too.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
We'll keep
is the podcast on Spotify?
It is. We're making it there. So right now
Okay.
we are on Anchor.fm, which is who's going to be distributing this podcast, and soon they will be distributing the podcast to all major platforms that we're already on for our music. So that's going to be nice.
Awesome.
Although I believe there's a bit of delay in between there. So hopefully soon. That's the plan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I think we should give a shout out. I think we should have a shout out segment. Sort of in all these.
I feel like there should be some sort of music right now, though.
Okay. Yeah.
We need like one of those buttons.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get
there. Shout out. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, we do need to give.
That's the intro. Yeah, the shout out. We're gonna give a couple shout outs, and the first shout out I think should be our wives. Our wives.
Yeah.
Who have put up with everything from in the last year, from having dinner and then being like, I'm gonna go to the basement for the next 4 to 6 days,
right.
and you won't hear from me.
I would also say a shout out, to my wife for having, and I had the comment that I know that you've had too. Why are you listening to the same thing over and over and over again? Doesn't understand because she can hear it, but I can only hear what's in my headphones. So I think that's a great one. But it's a big shout out.
I think that by the time the album was done, I think my wife is kind of like, I've heard it.
I'm over it.
You want to hear this album? She's like, heard it.
Yeah.
For a year. So yeah, but their support was great. It's like we obviously have jobs as well as this.
Yes.
So there's only so many hours in a day. So it's nice to have that support. Otherwise, I don't know what we would do. It's a lot of ducking out from everyday life to record and mix and re-edit and re-edit and re-edit. So so that's the first shout out, I would say.
That's a good one. And you know what? I mean, give shout out to my wife too, because she was the one who, when you mentioned, about the UK and going, hey, maybe we should move there. She was the first one to hop on. She's like, I found this house in Birmingham. We can go right now.
Yeah.
So I told my son today, I was like, hey, by the way, we're moving. Hey, he's like, what? And I go, yeah. He's like, you're joking. You're lying. And I go, no, really. I said, we're also going to take the rink in the backyard with us too. He's like, no, okay. I know. So
it doesn't travel well, but
no, not really. Plus, I hate to say it, but I don't think the UK's got the weather for it. So
no. Yeah. You'll deal with that. That's
I don't know how many hockey.
We'll iron out the details.
I don't know how many hockey players are coming out of the UK. I'm just saying.
No, that's true. Yeah. Huh?
Well, you gotta go.
That's why there's PS4.
That's right.
Creates himself, puts him in the game.
Yeah, be a pro.
And as our second, this will be the second of two for today. Is shout out will be to the people that listened to our album that wasn't our family, obviously.
Yeah.
So when we recorded the album, the first thing we did was we chat with my brother. My brother, Luis Fernandez, is an actor, director, and he runs a studio in Toronto. So we threw him the CD and we said, kind of, any pointers you have would be great. And he. Actually, we had the first Zoom call we ever did as a band was with him, and he ripped into us for about an hour and a half.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. He gave us his honest notes, and it was great. It was very constructive.
It's actually, you know what, it's probably one of the best things that ever happened right there.
Yeah.
Because it put us maybe on the right trajectory. I mean, we had a good idea of what we wanted, and but it certainly maybe gave us a path and kind of where we are at this point, right? Because it kind of gave us a focus too.
Yeah.
On, what we should be doing, because I think we were doing it for the love of music, which is most important. But at the same time, we also had a goal in mind to make an album, and he put that in perspective of what do you want this to be, who do you want to listen to it, and how do you want it to sound, and make sure that we're ready. And I think that was key.
It's stuff that as a band you don't really think about when you're recording, and especially like a new band when you're recording, and you're always working towards an album, and when the album's done, you don't really think about what now. How do I present this? How do I get it out there? What's the best way to get out there? And that conversation really dialed us in and got us, out of our, oh, this is great, this is done. It got us out of that mentality of what's next. We didn't think about kind of what's next. We're just kind of like, let's get it out there. And we got notes, and we went back and worked on some things, and
there's a couple actually, and you know what, and really because of that, we I mean, when you think about it, we ditched a song off that album.
Yeah.
Right. We replaced an entire song because it just, it was, and that was shout out to him, but also to the other people that we gave them a listen to say, hey, listen, can you just give us some feedback? What do you think? And from that, I mean, we essentially recorded another song. I mean, we had it kind of there sitting there. It was just simmering, but it was like, what, this is actually the one that needs to fit on here. So
yeah, it was our first album 2 song that we were going to use for, but then so and we changed the track listing, and everything kind of changed from that point forward. But so Luis Fernandez is the first guy who listened to it. Also, we had Brad McCoy listen to it, Crystal West and Shannon Sinclair. Those 4 listened to the album, gave us their notes, and so thank you. That was great. It was people didn't know what we wanted to hear, but it wasn't so much what we want to hear. It's your honest feedback.
Yeah.
So we got that.
Just one more there. My buddy Jeff Mills, who I sent a song over, and kind of just solidified that we were on the right track too. So
right, and also then with that said, Valerie Potter also.
No kidding. Yeah.
She heard a couple songs, but it was in the Ross forum. She heard.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
Which maybe the hardest.
Yeah, it was a lot. And you know what the funny thing was, when I sent Valerie, I think it was Slow Burn, and I sent it to her because I thought like this is gonna be a song she would love, and she loved it, but she was like, Nate's vocals have to go up, and I was like, okay, awesome. So that was like a instant edit
feedback,
right? Like in the Ross form, and then it was feedback to do it, and then I did it, and I resent to her and says it's better. And she's like, yeah, I'm like, cool. So Valerie, thank you. That was great. That was good.
Yeah,
that was good advice there. So thank yous.
We do have some thank yous, and we need to do that. Also, another one too, just in terms of last week, we were shouting out to radio stations. So we got a kind of it just came out of the blue. I got a nice little message on Twitter, but Radio Wingham and Cardiff put us on the radio there too. Play. So it was nice to see that, and I think that's maybe why we're also getting some love from the UK there, because it's just getting picked up and tossed around, and it's nice. It's a nice feeling. It's
to the point now where we don't, Nate and I don't have time to even tune in to hear it, because they just start playing it, or we hear about it after the fact. It's been played,
and we can't. Unfortunately, we can't highlight it. But if you hop on Twitter, follow us there. I find that a lot of the bands, or the radio stations that are playing us are posting it either ahead of time or right after. And I mean, I recommend anyone who's putting us on rotation or putting on their shows to check them out. There's some good programming out there that I think is, just great programming local. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of programming out there that's fantastic and has some pretty good DJs and hosts and that. So, yeah.
Also, CBJ Radio, they played us again yesterday.
I keep wanting to say Columbus Blue Jackets every time.
Yeah.
Every time. CBJ, Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
What about that, eh? Trade? You see the trade today?
Yes, I did see a trade today. Yeah. I think that Winnipeg. I don't know.
Do you think
They traded a 40-goal scorer for.
that who doesn't try?
Yeah, that's the truth. He doesn't. Yeah,
But
but
but that's what I mean, right? They traded a 40 goal scorer who doesn't try.
if he does try,
If he does try, he's 50, probably, hands down.
but with Torts, man, with Torts, he's going to
He
be.
is going to fold like a suit.
Yeah.
He's done. There's
Yeah.
no way they get along. There's not a chance.
No.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
so
sorry.
that was interesting. I saw it today, and I thought like this is. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But my first impression of the trade was, Liney's he's a fantastic player. I don't know if you trading a cancer to get another cancer necessarily fixes a problem. You know,
Well, and I mean, for what they gave up, I mean, they had two, like, Winnipeg gave away two guys that don't want to be there. And then maybe that third round pick in 2022 doesn't also want to be there. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know that. But you give away those three for Pierre-Luc Dubois is a great center.
yeah, he's young.
And he's first line center in Columbus. But if he goes to another market, let's say Toronto right now, or Tampa, Pittsburgh, is he first line center? No,
He's two.
Yeah.
In most teams, he's two. I would say most teams he's two.
Yeah, and I'm not a Montreal fan. I'm a Flames fan.
Yeah.
I know you're.
Why? What got your Flame love?
My nephew, he gave me a sweater when I was in I was like grade 3 or 4. It was one of those, like back in the day, they had those nice knit sweaters.
Yeah.
Not like the ones that you see, like the crazy sweaters for Christmas, and the hockey ones, but it was just like that nice knitted, like grandma probably did it, grandma or somebody, and it was the Flames logo on there, and that was it, man. I fell in love with that logo, and that was it. But then I found out my brother actually coached Jerome McGinley when he was younger, because my brother lived in Edmonton and Jerome grew up in Edmonton. So it kind of went full circle. I was like, maybe this was just all meant to be. And then now my dog's name's Diggy after Jerome McGinley, and yeah, he's going to be his Hockey Hall of Famer. So yeah, it's all worked out. It's perfect.
It's funny because people all the time, like, I'm from Toronto, right? So people are like, "Oh, you're a Leaf fan, you asshole." And I'm like, right? "Yeah, who do you cheer for?" And they say like a random team. It's always like a random team. Like, "Oh, I cheer for Pittsburgh." And I go, "Okay, well, at least I'm from Toronto."
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I have, like, in Toronto, if you grow up in Toronto and you're not a Toronto fan of any, like, then you're murdered. That's why no one who leaves Toronto is.
That's true.
Right. So that's that.
Or they keep it quiet. I mean,
yeah.
Really.
Then they leave, and then they're like, "Fuck," Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just going to go on just because I know that like Montreal was in that trade too, and they were going to give up some big guys like Suzuki and that, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. Seems like a lot to give up.
No, so, they would never do that. Suzuki never.
No, I think I heard yesterday that was pretty much the only trade that was really on the table was Winnipeg. They were the ones that were willing to really give up quite a bit.
You got to jump at that, though. You got to jump at that.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, well, there's how I became a Flames fan.
Awesome. I never knew. I never asked. I just your dog's named Iggy, and I was like,
yeah.
So I just assumed. I don't know if you fell in love with Iginla as a person, and then that's
I mean,
when the crush
afterwards. I mean, really, I have a massive photo. I used to be on the wall, not down here, but signed, and I used to collect memorabilia. I have a ton of it in a box.
Yeah.
Because I thought when I grew up, I was, when I grew up, and I'd have a house, I'd have a bar downstairs, I'd have TVs everywhere, and I have all this memorabilia. These glasses that we picked up from every Hard Rock. Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah. It's stashed away in cupboards, boxes, nothing.
Yeah. Well, coming to an eBay near you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. We should probably talk about the EP. We should probably get to the EP.
Yeah, we should.
We should just maybe break down. You want to break down the songs, what they're about?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, let's start off. The first one, I mean, we went over. That was our single, is "Fix Me," and we did. If you want to listen on how that one kind of came to be, check out the first podcast. That one's on there. So Tough Love. Sorry, we're not going to give you any info on that one.
No, yeah. So we're gonna move on. I'll let you actually. So my turn was a song that you just wrote and showed me was complete. It just needed bass, really. So how'd that come about to you? What was that? So what does that song mean to you? I'll let you know what it means to me, or what I see as out of it. But
I think this is one of the ones too that even your brother had mentioned lyrically. He wasn't sure about, and then I explained it to you. But I'm a big Matt Mays fan. I have a lot of music interest in Canadian artists. That's kind of where something I fell in love with. So I have a lot of love for out east bands, and one is Matt Mays and Adam Baldwin, who plays actually with Matt Mays. They're not exclusive either. There's a few others out there too, but strange enough, it was one of those things where you gave me the title, I believe. Did you not? On that one?
No.
No.
No,
Did I
no.
just come up with that on my own?
That was all. It was
All me,
that
eh?
was the only that song was when you showed it to me and you said, "Hey, you can change the drums," and I was like, "No, I'm not changing,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
changing,
right.
I'm not changing
Yeah,
anything." So you just
yeah,
gave it
not
to me, and I said add bass, and that was one
yeah.
of the easier ones too
That was one
on
of
my
these,
end. I was like, "Oh, cool, just add bass, done."
yeah. So like for that one, it was really, it was just really, we were just writing in the theme of what our album was about, stories of others, right? But in the chorus there, talking about like just the water is all I could go back to is, this in my mind was, I wish I lived on the water. And it's something that I've always said, if I had a cottage or something, it'd have to be on the water. Now,
Yeah.
I hate the beach. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I don't like sand, right? I'll wear like socks and running shoes on the beach if I could.
Oh, then you shouldn't go to the beach.
Right. But I like the water. I love the
okay.
water. I love the sound of the water. So when we do travel sometimes and we've gone to Myrtle Beach, I would love to just sit up on the balcony in a condo and just listen to the waves just roll in with a beer in my hand, of course.
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it.
No.
But you asked me to go down to the beach and sit in the sand. No, thanks. I'm good.
No.
No.
Yeah, because
Better have a beer somewhere
Yeah, you have some flow going on, and that sand will stick in your flow for.
for days.
I don't have that problem, but you know, I go to the beach and I give one of these, like, and it's gone. But for you, yeah, you're gonna have that sand in your hair, and you don't want that. Yeah.
But that's really where that song kind of just went to. It was just really
Awesome.
That was where I kind of went to that one. As I thought about, like, you know, that's kind of lyrically, anyways, where I went to it, and it just kind of wrote itself from there. So
Yeah, and my
What about
turn
you?
actually was was almost a single. It was almost the single
It
of
was.
the album.
That was the one that I was. It was, and actually, my wife said that I think is right now her favorite on that EP. So,
Yeah. It was because of the feedback we got from others that we went with "Fix Me" as a single.
Yep.
And
I think it was a good choice though.
Yeah, and our hesitation with "Fix Me" was the length of it.
Yeah, it was.
2 minutes and 14 seconds, I think, and
Something like that.
but we went with it. It seemed in all our feedback we received prior to announcing the single and album, that one kept coming back to us. So that ended up being a single. We gave the people sort of what they wanted.
We gave the people what they wanted.
Yeah, we didn't want to make any rash decisions without the people. So
we also wanted to make sure that we kept them happy. The people that are on our side, let's keep them happy.
Yeah, no, I liked your my turn explanation was perfect. I don't even need to tell you how I feel about it.
There? Okay.
No, I feel that's great. It just that it, like, my brother's problem wasn't the problem with the lyrics. It was just a C. It was just the line.
C. He didn't. But then I explained to you that it was all about the water, and that, you know, you just had to. Yeah. I don't know.
So then
that's how it is.
So the next song is "Forgotten," and "Forgotten" is a probably the heavier song on the album.
That we have. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of breaks up the album. It kind of comes in and it's more aggressive as opposed to the other ones.
And I would probably say "Forgotten" too. That was a tough one. Like, that was probably up there with "Fix Me" because it went through some changes.
Yeah. So actually, we changed the entire key. We had to re-record the entire song
because I couldn't sing it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That was a problem. That was a legitimate problem.
And that's a problem. So when your singer can't sing the song, you have to adapt to that. So yeah, and that was the one. It was done. And then you threw on the vocal.
Yep.
And then you sang to me as a complete song. And after saying it to me, you're like, you gotta change the key.
Yeah, I just couldn't. It was too high. It was just started off too high, and I was like, we got to bring it down. We just got to bring it down. But it worked out. It worked out really well. I really like. It's a song that's it's not lyrically it's pretty short, but it's kind of neat. It's got some really good imagery, I feel like, in that one.
Yeah, I agree. It's more of the at the other end. So some of the songs are like about heartbreak, and this is more at the end of that, where you are reminding someone that I can't be forgotten at all.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Yeah. So,
and that was the one where you kind of gave me you had a thought right in that one. I feel like that was the song that you were like, here's kind of an idea of what I've got, and then
I think I called it The Forgotten.
The Forgotten, and we were like, no.
And then we
had to
dropped the
change this.
because that's just what you do. We do edits like that. Big edits like that.
Big changes.
I think it was like 3 a.m, and I called Nate up and I was like, man, we had to drop that the. And he said, fuck off. And then he hung up. And then we dropped the. Yeah.
And then we did it. We got rid of it.
The next song is the song that features the cello. And
that was a big hit.
That was
Huge hit.
That was the first time I think I really fucked around with MIDI instruments, in the sense that other than drums.
Other than drums, yeah.
It was just fuck around the keyboard, learn a bit on keyboard when I did this album, which was it was kind of more of a tool that I never used ever. I never learned how to play a keyboard, but when we were recording the album, it was so key. It was so key. With keyboard like that, I'm connecting everything.
So punny.
So it was actually key in writing songs, which I was surprised with. And Slow Burn, for example, which is a song on the album that's not on the EP. It was it's like the whole song was written off of the 3 key mess around. I was sitting down, it's like just hit it, recorded it, kept it in time, and then it repeats throughout the whole song of Slow Burn. But it was the first time I wrote the bass and I wrote everything around the keys. So with Down the Road, it starts on cello. The first instrument you hear is cello, and that's how the song started. Everything was written around the cello, which it's beautiful. The cello, I think cello is a beautiful instrument.
It is.
So when you're messing around with, and the problem now is restraining myself from using the cello, because it's and I'm trying to break out of using, but whenever I say, hey, kind of empty here. It'd be nice to have some MIDI instruments fill in the sound, and I try all kinds of strings and all like experimental shit, but when it comes down to it, the cello is like, it always sounds so pretty behind what I'm doing.
And you know what?
Break away from that.
I must admit though, when you showed me that song, that you had it in there, and because you gave me the bass and the drums, and I was blown away. I was like, I would have never have thought to throw in a cello or strings, although it's always something that maybe you don't realize that you kind of hear it in songs, but you don't really pay any mind to it. But to hear it in one of ours, it just was like, nah, this fits. And then, like you said, it was almost hard not to put it in other songs or more of them than we did. And we do have a few others that have it, but
yeah,
it really worked. It worked really, really well.
And there's also like other songs have violin plugins, and there's also I use like choir and stuff.
Yes,
sometimes.
That's
like,
right.
Very, very, very faintly sometimes, or very loud and in your face, but it's a cool tool, and I never ever thought we'd have a song with cello.
No.
Or like, and when I even present the song, I'm like, the song is a cello, and I don't know, you're gonna ask me what that is. It's a cello. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And
that's what it is. Yeah.
And I think Crystal, when she heard the album, she was like, when I heard the cello, I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear the cello again in the album. And she didn't hear it again in the album.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, we can't overdo the cello.
Wow. And it makes people want more for another song.
Yeah. Another song will have the cello. The cello won't go anywhere.
And I know that this is the one song that you had said specifically that you love the lyric.
Yes.
The dancing to the beat of our own drum.
That is one of, there's a few lyrics on the album that like the one-liners that I go, this is great.
Yeah.
And that's one of them.
Yeah.
Down the Road is a really, really like sad song. It's actually our longest song on the album.
Yeah.
It's just over almost
4:30.
Yeah, just about 4.5 minutes. But and this song the biggest struggle for this song was our BPM for it. We didn't want to be too slow, but we didn't want to speed it up to make it any more than it. Like the song had to sound, I think, especially with the cello in there, it had to sound a certain way. And so our struggle was not making it too fast, but not letting it drag. But I think it's a good tempo, I think, for what the song's about.
Absolutely. And it fits really well. And I mean, this is one that I almost wanted to toss at one point, just because it was just so frustrating, right? To work out.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess any band and any song has its moments, right? I mean, there's very few that probably write themselves and you record and you're like, yeah, that's bang on.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, that tempo was a killer. We went back and forth on that quite a bit, and yeah, mixing it was I felt bad for you.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. And a few of them have been nightmares, but few went really, like, we have Who's Lonely Now, and that song was probably the least problem for recording or even idea, just heading back and forth. It was like the least. We had no struggle with that song. The only thing we did was production value after the fact was just doubled up that end,
right,
the instrumental end, and then everything. It just kind of, that song, when we recorded Who's Lonely Now, and this is going again off the EP, we're going to the album here. When we recorded Who's Lonely Now, and when Nate finished the lyrics and the vocal and sent it back to me, it was, that song was a realization that we had something very, like, awesome. Like, that song, when I heard that song, I thought, like, this song is like, you can on the radio right now. Like,
and I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure your brother, if I'm not mistaken, and when we were going through with him, that I think that was where he's like, we just hit our stride.
Yeah.
But it made sense because there were so many songs that we recorded ahead of time. And even that's on this EP, like we said about even Fix Me being our first one, but technically ends up being our last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that we just hadn't hit our stride, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we got it,
Yeah.
And then that's when we had to go back, and even for this EP, make sure that these 5 songs were ready to go. So we really had to go through and, with a fine-tooth comb, make sure they're there.
Yeah. Like when you're mixing, it's especially when you're adding different kinds of instruments, like we were adding drums and all that stuff after the fact, or sometimes it's just drum and bass, and then we throw in keys or whatever. Getting all that to come through on someone's, like, phone or sound system, and to find a mix that
kind of fits them all, right?
Kind of fits them all. Okay, like if you have a subwoofer, you got to hear that bass. If you have a phone, it's got to sound good, because most people have it on their phones. Most people have headphones on their phones or whatever. So it's tough, and that's why you really understand why people don't do it themselves.
Correct. Because it's a lot. You spent hours. I mean, hundreds of hours on this.
Yeah, And so also, just look at, with that being said, I think that something that we should talk about is just like the 2-person band.
Yes, I was just thinking that.
The pro of that is that we get shit done. There's there's the cook in the kitchen, saying that everyone's like, too many cooks.
There's only the 2 of us.
Yeah, and so it works out in that sense that we're on the same page, so we're able to just like do the work and get it done, and then only at this point, when the album's done and we're like doing this part, then you realize that with 2 guys, we got to hustle.
It's true.
We can't. Yeah. It's just like one of us has to do something, one of us has to do the other thing.
Yeah.
But then every band I've been with, there's 4 or 5 people, and 4 or 5 people don't do anything.
Right.
And
that's where this has been really different in terms of we have attacked this in a totally different way and just said, okay, I've got this, you got that, boom. And I think a lot of people don't know is that we've never jammed. We've never actually sat together because of COVID.
Yeah. So that's an exclusive right there.
It's an exclusive.
Nate and I have not played music in the same room this entire time.
But the thing is, though, we had sent hundreds of takes of different things and throughout that it almost feels like we have, in a way. It's strange. It's an odd feeling to think that we've never sat down and jammed.
And we have a full album.
Yeah.
And we're on Spotify. I bet you we may be the only band on Spotify who's never been in a room together to jam.
That's quite possible.
Yeah, because like at some point,
you're gonna have to.
A band consists.
And I mean, part of that too is, obviously that we couldn't.
Yeah.
But also, there's been no live gigs, so we had no reason to have to go and do it. Right. There was a small window in time in the summer where things were slowly kind of opening up, but we weren't at that point yet. We didn't have what we needed to be able to even attempt that. So
yeah,
man. And then chapter 2, man.
Chapter 2,
last song.
Chapter 2, last song. Chapter 2.
That's such a cool. It's cool just to think of our album cover, right? Part 1. You got all the books there, and chapter 2.
It ends on chapter 2 of the EP.
It ends on chapter 2.
Yeah. And that one is another, that song is another kind of, and you know, I've discovered through this album when I have a concept for a song, a lot of the time I fell in love with the build up and like what we called it actually at the time was we called it a slow burn.
That's right.
And that's how slow burn got its name, is because I fell in love with the idea of a slow build up and then just
And
dropping
just
it
kind
right
of
off.
dropping.
And
Yeah.
chapter 2 has that. Chapter 2 doesn't have it the same extent as slow burn
That's
does,
slow burn,
but it has
it
that
does have it.
concept. Yeah.
Yeah, where it builds up and then just starts to slow back down, just the slow burn all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It-
And that song is great. It's a great addition to the album. And again, what I said last podcast was I think this EP kind of has it has the whole spectrum of what to expect from the album. Um, and and I like the EP as that mix, because if you hear it and you hear the 5 songs, and that's 5 of 14 on the
Right.
actual album, you're gonna get the message of what we kind of do and what we've been aiming towards. And hopefully if you guys heard it, you liked it, or
And if you haven't, check it out.
and hopefully you like it then.
Any streaming platform, it's on there.
Yeah.
You know, we're on,
Yeah.
I think there's like 25 of them, you know, but whatever's your favorite, or head over to Bandcamp. That may be one that you're not familiar with, but it's free streaming. You don't even have to sign up to anything.
Yep.
Go on there, and then if you like it, you want to purchase it, it's there. But by all means, stream it for free. We just want you to enjoy.
Yeah, with the whole idea when Nate and I started this band, it was not, we didn't look for, you know, the fame or anything. We just wanted it to be heard. We wanted the album
To be
heard, because you know, the struggle with a lot of musicians and bands is just getting it out there, and we were lucky enough to get it out there
Right.
relatively early, and it's out there. And we right now we have this EP out. We're going to have a single probably out in the next 3 weeks from this EP.
Yes.
Another song not on the current EP, and we're fortunate enough to have the album very accessible to hear. And we just want people to listen and give us feedback, which actually and Nate will announce this, but this brings us to a contest that we're kind of
kind of
about here.
Let's throw this at the kind of the end of this podcast, right?
Yeah.
So we actually did a couple things. So we were on Bandcamp, and with that, we have some free albums that we can give away. So especially if you're someone that travels with your music and you'd like to put it on your phone, and maybe you don't have an account, well, we're going to give away some EPs, right?
Yeah.
So 50 EPs. What we want to do is if you can subscribe to YouTube, share it out to a friend on any platform, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, IG, tag us, tag a friend, share it with them. We're going to put you, not only the first 50 will get you an album, but the big one is if you subscribe to YouTube and we get up to, we're going 50 subscribers, right?
50,
I think we're at 8 right now. Our first podcast is almost at 100 views already. So we know you're out there. Is first 50. We'll put you in a draw, and we're going to give you this. Andrew, you want to lift it up there,
I'll lift it up here. This is the
hopefully it doesn't disappear on us.
I know. Here it is. So
There it is.
let me just angle it. There. It's a framed this is bad background business.
But yeah,
There you
it's
go.
a frame shot of our EP.
Yeah.
Chasing Records Part 1.
Goes on the wall, hangs on the
Story
wall.
Stories of Others. We'll ship it to you for free.
Ship it to you for free. We'll cover shipping.
Yeah, we'll cover shipping. It's all yours.
And just to explain what Bandcamp is a website where you buy music, but you get it, you own it like MP3 form, like a lot of Spotify, you're streaming it. This is you buy it, but we will give you, if you subscribe, like our videos, first 50 will get a free link to just download all 5 songs.
Exactly. You get it. You get to keep a copy of it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of exciting, something that you don't necessarily get to do. But we thought, this would be a great way to just be able to enjoy the music, and especially if you don't have a streaming service out there and you wanted to, have it with you, didn't want to use your data on your phone, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just take a copy of it. Along you go, you get MP3, WAV. So it's whatever format you'd like, how high quality you would like it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
however you'd like to.
And the frame that we send to you will be sanitized, wiped
That's
down,
right.
and
Yes.
we guarantee COVID-free
That's right.
since 2003. I don't know.
Exactly. All right. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So yeah, try and do that, guys, and we will do our best. It'll be a draw. We're in draw for the album artwork.
Yep.
But,
and I'll fire away some Bandcamp codes as people subscribe and share. You, like I said, tag us in whether it's Twitter, Facebook, IG. Just tag us, let us know, and I'll throw you, a free Bandcamp. And if I missed you, if you're like, hey, where is it? Send us a message. We'll get it to you. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll just give us your email and we'll get it to you.
Yep.
The winner of the artwork, we will have a draw. We might do it live on a podcast.
That might be a good idea. Eh?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And then we'll contact you, and all we need is your address, and we'll ship it to you. We'll do our best to ship it in a protective case so it doesn't.
That's right. Yes.
Get ruined. And if it's ruined in transit, just let us know.
That's right.
And we will send you another one.
We'll continue the love.
I have a whole room full of them, apparently. Awesome. Okay.
All right, buddy.
That's great. We should also announce that we are, for this podcast, we're looking to branch out a little bit. We're looking to not just promote ourselves, but we'd
like to help some other Canadian and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Canadian. Yeah. I mean, if you're a band out there and you're listening.
Yeah, we want to promote other bands, get them on with us and talk about what they have coming up and stuff.
So
and
send us an email if you chasingrecordsband@gmail.com, or you can visit our website, which is behind me right here, www.chasingrecords.ca, not .com. We're Canadian. So down at the bottom, there's a contact us button there. You can click that and send us a message or DM us, Twitter, IG, Facebook. We're on it.
Yeah.
So let us know if you're interested. We'll get you on here and you can promote your stuff. We'd like to hear what you've got to say, what you've done, and maybe listen to some of your tunes and be kind of nice way to spread the love, right? So doesn't matter wherever you are in the world, we can set this up, which is kind of neat.
And we're going to give a shout out to a band from Barrie right now who has this whole journey since we've been on Twitter, who's been super supportive of us. They keep tagging us. They keep sharing our stuff, but we're sharing their stuff. And 12 years today. Sorry. 12.
Yeah. It's okay.
12 years today. I'm sorry, man. I make a lot of mistakes. 12 years today. We're hoping to get those guys on because
huge shout out. So hopefully we can grab those guys for our first one. Would be nice. So
they have an EP dropping this Friday.
January 29th.
We're gonna try and get those guys on. And if they're watching this, any guys from there, reach out to us, or we'll reach out to you this week to hopefully set something up. Yeah.
All right, guys, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Give us a like. And if you're not following us on one of our social medias, do it so you know what's coming up down the pipeline. Yeah. Because we've got more in store. So
if we're not banned.
Correct. Yeah.
If we're not banned.
Unbelievable.
Fingers crossed.
We'll try and play by the rules, even though we did.
We play by the rules. We're rule players.
Unbelievable.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
See you on the next one. Ciao, guys.